takes the snap under pressure, avoids the rush, and he's gonna fight out of it. Still fights out of it. Now throws it deep downfield. Wide open Tyree, who makes the catch. Manning will take the snap, looks left, lobs it left, throws it wide open. Touchdown Giants! With 35 seconds to go, and the Giants regain the lead.
In the most astonishing upset in Super Bowl history, the Giants ended New England's bid for a perfect season.
Big move!
The euphoria of that classic was relived earlier today in Midtown Manhattan when Giants legend Harry Carson and Super Bowl hero David Tyree regaled the crowd before escorting the Lombardi Trophy across the Hudson River and into New Jersey, where now 80,000 fans get to join the celebration.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Lombardi Trophy back to Giant Stadium.
Giant Stadium, you thought I was never coming back? But I had to come back to celebrate an incredible championship season with by far the greatest fans in all of sports. And for one final time, salute my teammates for an incredible championship run. So what I want you to do, I want you to get on your feet. I want you to make some noise. I want you to get ready to stomp somebody out and welcome the New York Giants Super Bowl champions.
With that high drama, welcome to the 2008 National Football League season. Al Michaels and John Madden at the Meadowlands tonight as the Giants against the Washington Redskins. The Giants coming off that magical run, unprecedented through the playoffs, defeating the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. Giant fans will be dining out on that baby for a long, long time. John, very infrequently does a Super Bowl champion shock the football world. The Giants did that. Now it's 2008. What do you expect this season?
You know, you can just feel it here. You can feel it in these fans. You can feel it in the players. You know, I go to practice, I talk to the players, and they're so confident now that they know that they're champions. They know that they can go all the way. And I'll tell you, the way Eli Manning is now, you just watch him, and he was good last year, and he was learning the offense, and he knew what to do. But this year, the biggest difference is he is very, very comfortable doing it.
Eli Manning, Super Bowl MVP. Then there are the Washington Redskins, tonight's opponent. 4 years of Joe Gibbs. He leaves with a year left on the contract. Moderate success, 30-34. A couple of playoff appearances, one playoff win. Jim Zorn gets the job. Quarterbacks coach of Seattle. First time he's ever been a head coach. He's never called plays before. New coach, new system, the West Coast system. A lot of questions. What gives the Redskins the best chance to beat the Giants tonight, John?
I think what they have to do is run the ball. I'm talking to Jim Zorn last night. He said that their run offense is really ahead of their pass offense, and he said normally he would be 60-40 pass to run. He said it could be the opposite of that tonight, 60 run, 40 pass. And I think if the Redskins are going to have a chance tonight, Clinton Portis and Liddell Betts have to have big games running the ball.
Let's go, partner.
Let's go.
The season is underway. Big NFC East matchup as Eli Manning and the world champion Giants take on the Washington Redskins. We break the seal on the 2008 season.
Major League Baseball continues on NASN with more live midweek matchups. First up, the A's travel to Motor City to face the Tigers. Then in the National League, the Marlins and Phillies battle as the playoff races tighten. Live midweek baseball only on NASN.
He's violated his own defense, Mike. Mike just watched the way he danced past those two blockers. Tangoed right in there. Unbelievable. Check out the rookie. Slam dunk.
ESPN 360. Wherever and whenever you're online, you're at the game.
Swisharoo, baby.
Reports have just come in. More details to come on this breaking story.
Football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN. Major League Baseball continues on NASN with more live midweek matchups. First up, the A's travel to Motor City to face the Tigers. Then in the National League, the Marlins and Phillies battle as the playoff races tighten. Live midweek baseball only on NASN.
For 7 o'clock here in the Big Apple, or across the Hudson River from Manhattan in the New Jersey Meadowlands. It's a warm night. The temperature is 87 degrees. And the Giant fans already in full throat as we get set to start the season. They'll get the ball. Sean Sweezum will kick off for the Washington Redskins, who come off a 9-7 season. The Giants were 10-6. It's a good kick. It's taken 4 yards into the end zone by Ahmad Bradshaw. And Bradshaw will get taken down straight on by Mike Sellers, the Washington fullback, up at the 16-yard line. Let's take a look at the Giants starters.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Brandon Jacobs, Southern Illinois.
Madison Hedgecock, North Carolina.
Plexico Burris, Michigan State.
Amani Toomer, Michigan.
Kevin Boss, Western Oregon.
Dave Deal, University of Chief Illinois.
Rich Seibert, Western Illinois. Sean O'Hara, Rutgers University. Chris Snee, Boston College.
Cooley McKenzie, Penn State.
And just a note on the other side of the line, the Redskins will start Jason Taylor. Sprained his knee a week and a half ago. They didn't know if he'd be able to play. He's in the game, number 55. And the first play from scrimmage of the season is a 4-yard run to the right side by Brandon Jacobs. Here are the Washington defensive starters.
Jason Taylor, Akron.
Cornelius Griffin, Alabama. Kendrick Goldston, Georgia.
Andre Carter, University of California.
Rocky McIntyre, the U.
London Fletcher, John Carroll University. Marcus Washington,
Auburn High School.
Carlos Rogers, Auburn University.
Reed Dowdy, Northern Colorado.
LaRon Landry, LSU.
Red Smoot, Mississippi State.
One guy they're missing is Sean Springs, hurt in practice a couple of days ago, inactive tonight. And the pass intended for Jacobs is incomplete. Trying to set up the screen. The pressure was put on Eli, and it will be 3rd down and 7. And John, a year ago, a lot of questions about the Giants. Would Tom Coughlin survive? How would they replace Tiki Barber? And will Eli Manning ever deliver? I think he had.
Oh, yeah, and remember last year it was, well, he doesn't have the personality. He's quiet, you know, he doesn't give speeches and stuff. And now, a year later, after he wins the Super Bowl, he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's the quiet leader. He's the humble quarterback. He was the same thing a year ago.
Can he be the guy? Case closed. 3rd and 7 from the 19-yard line. Manning fires over the middle, and they're going to convert because Steve Smith, who made some big catches in the Super Bowl on 3rd down plays, does it here. He's tackled there by London Fletcher. In the Super Bowl, he had 4 3rd down conversions.
Well, here he is. He's an inside receiver, and that's what they like to do is put him in the slot and let him work the middle. Remember when they lost Jeremy Shockey and they talked about him and said that, you know, that they're going to miss him in the passing game? Steve Smith kind of took his place in the passing game.
Kevin Walsh, the tight end in motion. Jeremy Shockey is gone, sent to New Orleans. Here goes Jacobs, tough runner. Jacobs up to the 31-yard line. When the Redskins lost Philip Daniels, their starting defensive left end, in training camp, they went out and got Jason Taylor, and there was some speculation as to whether he would or wouldn't play in Miami. So right off the bat, Vinny Serrato, who runs the football operation, and the owner Dan Snyder went out and picked up a guy who's made 130 consecutive starts, sprained his knee a couple of weeks ago, but starting tonight.
Right, and the Giants are testing him right off the bat. If you've noticed that every time they've run the ball so far, they've run it right at Jason Taylor.
2nd and 7. Pump fake. Going deep, wide open. Plexico Burress, who scored the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. So the corner bites on the fake down the right sideline, and getting free is Burress, who was not healthy at all last year, still had a great year, healthier this year despite missing a lot of training camp.
If they're going to go deep, you know it's going to be the Plexico Burress. And you see Carlos Rogers over there. He's looking to the inside, and Plexico Burress runs right by him. Now, LaRon Landry is the free safety, and he can usually go sideline to sideline. He gets there just a step late on Burress's catch.
Rogers gets burned. It's a 30-yard gain. The ball is at the 40-yard line on 1st down. Manning, before he gets hit, fires to the 21, and that's Burress again. Knee and ankle injuries last year. He hardly practiced at all. Didn't practice very much in training camp, but has had full practices over the past week and catches passes back-to-back. That's for 19.
I think they found a matchup they like out there on the right side. Although you can see Eli Manning look to the left before he came back to Plexico Burress, who was running an in on Carlos Rogers. The play before, he went up on Rogers, and then he gets Rogers playing off, worried about that, and then he runs in or a dig route.
Now to the left side goes Jacobs, and Jacobs takes it to the 17. The Giants by committee, replacing Barber last year. Jacobs was their main man, gained over 1,000 yards. He missed 4 or 5 games with injuries. Derek Ward was also very effective. He missed some time with injuries. And then the emergence of Ahmad Bradshaw, who was great in particular in postseason.
You know, and then the one, well, there's a lot of constants. I mean, they have the same starting offense that they had last year, but this offensive line is super. They are a great unit, and they're very, very good at run blocking.
All 5 of those guys started all 16 games during last year's regular season. Manning gets hit as he throws. The pass is incomplete. And then Jacobs with a little head slap back and forth there with the linebacker, Marcus Washington. And let's check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Thank you, Al. Well, we saw the 2 big catches by Plexico Burress, and he told me it's the best he's felt in nearly 2 years, ready to get the big play back in the Giants offense. But he's also especially motivated because finally, after 7 months of negotiation, he had a new contract signed today. They had 3 years remaining, so it's now a 5-year, $35 million deal, $11 million guaranteed and payable this year. And interestingly, guys, Burress said he really wanted to get that security after watching teammate O.C. Yermanura lost for the season with an injury. He's thrilled he'll end his career as a Giant.
2 catches on this drive. Meanwhile, here's Kedrick Golston, who won the starting left tackle job. Anthony Montgomery had started last year. The 2 were battling. Montgomery wasn't completely healthy. And there is Montgomery, who had lost his starting job, even though he was going to be rotated in. And now he'll probably have to play a lot more as Golston comes limping off.
Yeah, that's one thing about that Redskin defensive line. They have starters, but they all play a lot. They just keep a constant rotation.
3rd and 6. Ed Hockley is the referee. There was no flag on the last play, but he may just want to settle things down here as he had Jacobs and Washington going at it early. A lot of jawing. And Ed is, as we all know, about as take charge as any ref in the league.
Right, he's a referee anything. I mean, a fight could break out, he'd be a fight referee. Giants are in 3-by-1 now. 3 on the right side, 1 receiver on the left side.
From the gun, 3rd and 6. Manning under pressure, gets it away, it's juggled, it's bobbled, and it's caught.
That is a heck of a throw by Eli Manning because he was hit just as he threw it.
By Reed Dowdy on a safety blitz.
But you talk about a quarterback having to stand in there, a quarterback having to be tough. Watch Eli here. Here comes a free rusher. He moves a little to his right, moves up, and then throws a perfect strike. These are the types of things that you don't coach. Maybe they come from Archie, but they're an instinct that a quarterback has of getting away from a free rusher. Some of them never learn it.
Well, they ended the season, of course, with a lot of magic, and there's a little mini magic here on the first drive. There is Archie, and he'll be making his way, along with his wife Olivia, over to Indianapolis, and Eli's wife Abby, he got married over the summer. They give the ball on the fake to Jacobs, and then it's thrown out of the back of the end zone, intended for Kevin Boss. Good play fake, and Kevin Boss, who is the starting tight end now that Jeremy Shockey has been dealt to New Orleans and had a good postseason. Of course, he's going to see a lot of action this year, second year out of Western Oregon.
Right, and I think if you say where are they going to miss Jeremy Shockey, it's in the blocking area. Kevin Boss is a pretty good receiver. You know, he's a big target, he's all those things, but he's really not a good blocker. In fact, because he's so tall, he doesn't have a lot of knee bend. I think that's why he's not a real good blocker.
6'6", 253. This is the 11th play of the opening drive. Ross lines up on the left. And to the back of the end zone goes the pass, and there's a flag because Amani Toomer was interfered with by Fred Smoot. But they'll get together, the officials will, the side judge and the head linesman, to discuss it.
Fred Smoot is saying it was offensive interference.
Here comes Ed Hockley to mediate. Or at least absorb the information.
I think Fred Smoot telling you right now what it is. He heard it.
The pass was incomplete. Pass interference, defense, number 27. The ball was placed at the 1-yard line, first down.
Yeah, you know Fred Smoot heard that when he started shaking his head. Here's a route here. Here's Fred Smoot on Amani Toomer. He gives him an out move. Yeah, he did push him. He did have contact before the ball got there while the ball was in the air. That's pass interference. I know what Fred Smoot is saying, that I did push him, I did run into him, but he also pushed me.
Only good news for the Redskins on this drive right now is Golston is back in the game. He came limping off. Back in at defensive tackle. 5 minutes into the game, it's 1st and goal. The fake to Jacobs. Manning on a roll. Manning looking for the end zone. He's in there. Touchdown. Well, these fans couldn't wait for the Giants to get home because they did it all on the road last year. It was worth waiting for.
Right, and they started right off offensively where they left off. Here's a bootleg. They get that power running game going. They fake it to the left, and Eli keeps it and goes out to the right. Watch Jason Taylor. He gets caught to the inside. Once he gets caught there, Eli is going to outrun him.
44-year-old John Carney signed this week to kick the extra point, and it's good. The hold by 42-year-old Jeff Eagles. There's Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator. Great drive. 11 plays, 84 yards. And the Super Bowl champs look just like the Super Bowl champs.
NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay. The White Sox battle the Yankees in New York. Or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. One run is in. Here comes Bream. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. The Atlanta Braves are National League champions again. This crowd has gone berserk. Listen, Sid Bream at the bottom of a huge pile at the plate. What a ball game.
NASN brings you the very best MLB coverage, including the playoffs and the 2008 World Series. Major League Baseball, only on NASN.
Over Manhattan and now to Giants Stadium, and you can see just above the stadium the new stadium under construction. The Giants will play here this year and next year, and then the Giants and the Jets move across the parking lot. So now John Carney playing because Lawrence Tynes, their regular kicker, is hurt, probably back in a week or two. So the 44-year-old sends it down to Rock Cartwright, and Cartwright will get spun down in front of his bench at the 27-yard line by Dominic Hickson. So Jim Zorn's Redskins have the ball for the first time this season when we come back.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
The crowd on its feet. You did it all, didn't you, Danny? Dale Jarrett is going to win it. Dale Jarrett has won the Brickyard 400.
There is Ned helping spot for Dale. A totally dominating performance this afternoon by Dale Jarrett. And Dale Jarrett wins the Brickyard 400 for the second time. He wins in 1996 and again here in 1999.
Franz, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
The Brooklyn Bridge, and now back to Jersey we come to the 27-yard line where Jason Campbell is the Washington quarterback, and he'll start with a short drop. He's flushed out of the pocket and he gets sacked by a team that led the league in sacks last year with 53, and that's Justin Tuck, who emerged last year in the shadow of Umanura and Strahan and really came into his own, and that's the way his season begins.
You know, and you talk about, you know, the pressure and the pressure inside. Justin Tuck is a guy that gives you that. He takes an inside move, And you just look at Jason Campbell, he holds the ball too long. You take a 3-step drop, and in this offense, it has to be 1, 2, 3, boom, the ball has to be out of there. If you go 1, 2, 3 and stand there, it's going to be a sack.
Now Portis for a couple. He went right over Stephon Hire, the new starter at right tackle. Let's take a look at that Redskin offense.
Jason Campbell, Auburn.
Clint Portis, the U. Mike Sellers, Northwestern High School.
Santana Moss, the U.
Antoine Randall, Indiana University.
Chris Cooley, Utah State.
Chris Samuels, Alabama.
Lee Kendall, Boston College.
Casey Rauba, Wisconsin.
Brandon Thomas, Mississippi State.
Stephon Hine, University of Maryland.
3rd and 15 with split backs here. Giants showing blitz. Flag is down before the snap, so Ed Hockley will make his first call of the night.
Ball start, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
John Jansen has been the rock of that line, but he lost his starting job to Hire now in his 2nd year. So Hire gets beat for the sack, and now he has a false start.
And this isn't the way Jim Zorn envisioned this offense to start in their first regular season game. But you know, you're playing the Giants here, this crowd fired up, this defense is really a lot better than the offense, and I'm surprised that they just didn't start off just handing the ball off a little. You start off with a sack, and then the rest of the series is going to be uphill.
And again, out of split backs, they give the ball to Portis, who takes it to the 22-yard line. So the Giants march down the field 84 yards. Then the Redskins go 3 and out. The Giants throw a sack in there. And now a rookie punter comes in. This is Durant Brooks. He was the only punter who was drafted last April, 6th round out of Georgia Tech. He was in a battle with Derek Frost right up until the end last week. We did the game against Jacksonville. It looked like Frost had the better night, but they decided to go with Brooks for the future. And his first NFL kick is a fairly short one, collected at the 44-yard line by R.W. McQuarters. The coverage initially is good, but then McQuarters is able to take it back up to the 48-yard line and set the Giants up just shy of midfield. Halfway through the opening quarter, 7-0 New York.
Go, coach. September on NASN. The Warriors of the NFL return to kick off another regular season.
He is in for the touchdown.
MLB's best begin the hunt for October and a place in the postseason. And the college football season is up and running, including Ohio State versus USC in one of the sport's best non-conference matchups.
What a catch!
September on NASN.
Fast minds, fast hands, and let's take it to them. One play at a time. One play at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself.
We hungry, baby.
No. That is the way to stomp your way into the playoffs. Hell of a job.
Major League Baseball coverage all the way to the World Series on NASN.
Coached the Jacksonville Jaguars for 9 years. Left there, spent a year out of the NFL, and then came back to coach the Giants in 2004. Wins the Super Bowl now in his 5th year on a brand new contract. From the 48-yard line, they send Jacobs over the right side. Tough to bring down. 7-yard gain for Jacobs, who is 6'4" and 264.
Yeah, I think you can see the game plan right off the bat is when they run, they want to run right, and they want to run right at Jason Taylor because, you know, he's not a big guy, and he's not a run player anyway. He can get strong side to his side, and he has a bad knee. You can see that he just can't hold the point on that side, and that's going to be a problem all night.
Jacobs last year averaged 5 yards per carry.
See, here's where Eli's a lot more comfortable doing these kinds of things.
And looks the part, too. And swings it out to Jacobs, who juggles it and can't get the handle, and that pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Fred Smoot put the pressure on from the corner. You'll see Eli's brother, Peyton, who didn't play at all in preseason because of the infected bursa sac, had that removed when Indianapolis opens up its season on Sunday Night Football as we head from here to Indy, and the Chicago Bears will be coming into town.
And here we go, 3rd down, and they go 3 wide receivers, and you can see
right here.
Steve Smith now is up on the right, and they usually, Eli Manning really likes Steve Smith on 3rd down situations.
But Manning didn't like what he saw from the defense and the play call there. Timeout, New York.
Reggie Bush electrifying. Reggie Bush using his speed.
Reggie Bush points in her record.
A historic run for Reggie Bush.
He dives in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Touchdown, Reggie Bush.
NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay. The White Sox battle the Yankees in New York, or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
From that, check it out. 3rd and 3. Here is Derek Ward taking the shovel to the outside, breaking a London Fletcher tackle and picking up the 1st down after the timeout.
I knew that play was going to go to Derek Ward because when they took the timeout, Brandon Jacobs was trying to get out, and this play was called for Derek Ward. So they put him in there, but before the timeout, they had Jacobs in there. And you know, a lot of teams have these, these packages and these kinds of things, and that was Derek Ward's play. And you can see where, again, they're running right at Jason Taylor.
Now they spread it out 5 wide, including Jacobs set to the right side at a wide receiver spot, and the pass will go to Plexico Burris, and he is a little short of the 1st down. He gets taken down by the safety LaRon Landry, who, because of a hamstring problem, did not play at all in training camp, but told us last night he's 97%.
You know, don't you just feel, here's Plexico Burris right here, and he's going to come up and just run a hook, find a hole right in there, get to the inside, work back to the quarterback, and you just feel that they can throw in front of these corners, in front of these Redskin defensive backs all night.
And one of them that's missing, of course, is Sean Springs. So the Redskins are short in that area.
Last night they thought Sean Springs was not only going to play, that he was going to start.
Came out before the game and they said no. Meanwhile, Jacobs says, no, you're not going to stop me. And the big bull goes down to the 14-yard line. He runs right over Landry for a 17-yard carry.
You know, and you're not going to see a lot of that. But, you know, here they run to the left, they get a pretty good lead, a good cutback. Now watch him unload right there on Landry. That is getting run over. Landry's going to say, where in the heck did that truck come from?
Landry just went from the 97% he told us he was last night to about 84.
Landry's about not knowing where the heck he is right now.
4.5 to go in the quarter. Off the fake. Manning gets chased, and Manning will throw that one away. Chased that time by Kedrick Golston, who was hurt on the first series, but came back into the game. 2nd down and 10 for the Giants. And there is Landry, and we talked about the fact he didn't play at all in preseason. Didn't practice that much either because of the hamstring, and then he was run over by Jacobs, and Chris Horton, a 7th-round draft choice out of UCLA, a rookie, will fill that role.
Yeah, Brandon Jacobs really unloads on him. Watch him. I mean, he takes LaRon Landry and shakes his whole body.
Well, Landry gives away 62 pounds to Jacobs, and here he goes again. Boom, down to the 6-yard line. London Fletcher.
Did I just hear a boom?
John, I had to throw it in. We've been working together this is our 7th year. You know, when I see Brandon Jacobs, it's the only way to describe it.
I know, and you think of that. And I mean, here's a 265-pound tailback, and we're talking to Greg Blosh last night, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, and he said, I told all my defensive backs, you better get them lower. You're going to be on a highlight reel. LaRon Landry didn't listen to that part of the speech.
You're not going to get me for copyright infringement, are you?
No, man. Anyone can have booms.
3rd and 1.
Just throw it out there.
Here's Derek Ward in the game now. And Ward probes the right side but can't get the first. London Fletcher, how good is this guy and how consistent is he? Last year, all season long, he missed a total of 10 plays from scrimmage. 10 of the more than 1,000 plays that are run against the defense. 1,026 total plays. He missed 10 of them.
Right, and that could have been a 4-point tackle right there, because by stopping the Giants here and causing 4th down, it sent him into a field goal situation. So you look at some plays and you can put points on them. That was a 4-point tackle by London Fletcher.
Now a 24-yard attempt. Carney, a long time with San Diego and with New Orleans. Last year with Jacksonville and Kansas City. Now, at least for the moment with the Giants, puts it through. So he has scored 4 points tonight. The Giants have a total of 10. 10-0 Giants. 2:53 left in the quarter.
College football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
These guys look fantastic. I'm so proud.
Join the Reebok Hockey Revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Look at Petty go in that light blue Plymouth. It's your biggest victory? This is it.
Petty cuts down with a beautiful handling car.
I ran the same speed all day long. He's going to win the race. He's going to win it spinning.
If you can beat Richard, you can win the race.
Petty is out in front at the line. Petty wins it.
I lost some this close, but this is the first time I remember in a long time I won one this close.
They're not changing tires. They're only adding gasoline, and either way, what strategy?
Richard Petty has won the 200th race.
I understand that no one has ever done that.
Who's the greatest of them all? Well, you know, it just points to Richard Petty.
The New York Giants on top, 10-0, 2:53 left in the quarter. You know, John, the Giants are the Super Bowl champions, but in a way, people are saying, well, Dallas is better than they are, and maybe a couple of other teams in the AFC, so maybe they're fueled a little bit by that. Brett Favre, of course, comes to town. He plays in the same stadium, so he took a little bit of the spotlight away. And the Giants are making a pretty good opening statement tonight about, hey, you know what? We're the champs.
Yeah, and I think that's true, and that's the way it should be. I mean, I believe you you earn a championship, and when you're the champion until someone beats you. So maybe Dallas can beat them on paper, or maybe some AFC team can beat them on paper, but you have to beat them on the field.
Kickoff fielded at the 3-yard line. This is Rock Cartwright taking it up to the 24. And let's take a look at the Giant defense.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame. Barry Cofield, Northwestern.
Fred Robbins, Wake Forest. Matthias Kiwanuka, Boston College.
Jarris Wilkinson, Georgia Tech.
AP, Arizona.
Danny Clark, Illinois.
Aaron Ross, Lee, University of Texas.
James Butler, Georgia Tech.
Mike Johnson, Arizona.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Corey Webster with a big interception in the NFC Championship game against the Packers last year. And we've got a whistle before the play again, and we've got a false start. The second one against Washington.
False start, offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Antoine L, the wide receiver.
The Giant defense is, it's a pressure defense anyway, and it's a blitzing defense, and you always kind of assume, long yardage, you're going to blitz, 3rd and long, those types of things. But the Giants also will run blitz and blitz on first down, as they did on that play, bringing the middle linebacker Antonio Pierce.
Again, they go with split backs. Portis stays in the block, and that's volleyball back by Danny Clark. He's one of the new Giants. They picked him up as a free agent from the Texans. He's been around, 9th year in the league, played for Tom Coughlin back at Jacksonville.
Yeah, we just talked about the blitz, and this is what the Giants do. Clark comes from right here. He's unblocked. He knows that you just key the quarterback. You're trying to get to him. But when he sets to throw, you go up and knock it down. And Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator of the Giants. Almost became the head coach of the Redskins last year, but he loves to blitz. And he says, as long as it works, I'll keep doing it all night.
On 2nd and 15, they run a draw. Portis tackled by Butler. Spagnuolo worked under Jim Johnson, the great defensive coordinator at Philadelphia. Gets the job here. So how does it start out for him? They give up 80 points in the first 2 games. They look awful. They're 0-2. They're down 17-3 to Washington at halftime of the 3rd game. Win that game thanks mainly to a goal line stand. The next thing you know, he's in demand and could have had the Redskin head coaching job, but opted to stay in New York.
And then he's going to get more offers, and he knows that, and Tom Coughlin knows that, and he's playing his dime defense now.
On 3rd and 12, they spread it out, and Santana Moss was the intended receiver, but it looked like there were 37 blue shirts in coverage. 4th down.
Yeah, that was a very good mixture of defense. He gave him on first down, he gave him a blitz. 2nd down, he gave him a blitz. 3rd down, he gave him 6 defensive backs and made him throw into that. So far, early in this game, the Giant defense really has the Redskin offense on their heels, to say the least.
Brooks to punt. McQuarters to run it back. And he just does get that one away. Decent distance. Flag is down. McQuarters gets taken down at the 42, but Hockley throws the flag back at the 10-yard line because Jerome McDougal came in and made contact with the punter.
The kicker. Defense, number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's Justin McDougal's or Jerome McDougal's Giants debut. He was with the Eagles. They picked him up last week, and here he cost them possession.
That wasn't bad. I mean, it was just one of those things that you always talk about, going to a point 5 yards in front of the punter, not going to the punter. McDougal was 2 or 3 yards in front of the punter. He was a little tight. But that was a big break there for the Redskins because, like I said, it's not only a 15-yard penalty, but it's an automatic first down. And maybe for the first time here, it gives them pretty good field position.
And that's the Skins' first down of the game. A game in which the Giants have gained 124 yards and Washington has gained 3 from the 37-yard line. Portis slips but slithers to the outside and then pays the price up at the 41-yard line. John, talking about Clinton Portis being such a big factor. He led the league in carries last year, and he's going to take himself out of the game here for at least a play. But he had a big night here last December, but he might have gotten poked in the eye.
And Clinton Portis is a real tough guy. I mean, and I think that if the Redskins early in the season are going to have much success offensively, I think he has to be a big part of it. And you know, the Redskins are using the same Joe Gibbs running game.
Here's Liddell Betts, who is his backup. Betts round choice in 02 out of the University of Iowa. Kiwanuka making the tackle. Kiwanuka going from linebacker back to end when Umanura was out for the season.
You know, and he feels pretty comfortable in doing that too. I mean, he's just reading the line. You know, the line's coming down. You know, the cut. He just goes right down with that offensive line, and it brings him right into the running back. I think Kiwanuka playing that right end is not going to be a problem for the Giants, and I think Justin Tuck, obviously playing the left end, will not be a problem either.
3rd down and 7 now. Campbell was under pressure again that time. Aaron Walsh, the corner, came in, forced the issue, and apart from that penalty, the Redskins still don't have a first down. Campbell has started the night 0 for his first 3. Manning 5 for 10 for 76.
Remember how they used to last year? They would move Justin Tuck around, and you thought maybe he's playing left end now. They're not going to do it. Well, they can still do it. They put someone else at left end, McDougal at left end, and then let him play like Tuck played last year.
Brooks already with his 3rd punt, a short punt, and it's fair caught at the 31-yard line by McQuarters, and we go to Andrea.
Well, guys, you were talking about Steve Spagnuolo. Now, he spent almost 24 hours interviewing for the Redskin job at the home of owner Dan Snyder, along with Vinny Serrato, the vice president. Now, Spagnuolo told me he was flattered and overwhelmed by it, but that it was a gut decision that he pulled his name out of consideration. However, Serrato told me not only did they never offer Spagnuolo the job, he said that when they reviewed the candidates, they felt that he was not the right person and that they did not have the comfort level with Spagnuolo.
Well, you never know when something is revisionist history or not. Well, we'll just take that at face value. From the 32-yard line, first down. Off the play fake, the pass is incomplete. One thing that we do know is that when they interviewed Spagnuolo, Jim Zorn had already gone to Washington. They hired Zorn as the offensive coordinator. So no matter who the head coach was going to be, Zorn was going to be the offensive coordinator. For a while, it looked like it would be Jim Fassel. Steve Mariucci, I guess, was in the mix for a while. A couple of other guys were in the mix. We talked about Spagnuolo. And then finally, in early February, they interviewed Zorn for the head coaching job. So he got the big raise and the big promotion to offensive coordinator. And then he's the big guy.
Right, and I think they not only had the offensive coordinator hired, but I think they had Greg Blosh, the defensive coordinator, hired.
This is Derek Ward up to the 42-yard line, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter, a most productive one for the Super Bowl champs. The Giants lead the Redskins by a score of 10-0, and NBC's NFL Kickoff Special will continue right after these messages.
Football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
These guys look fantastic. I'm so proud.
Join the Reebok Hockey Revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Look at Petty go in that light blue Plymouth. It's your biggest victory? This is it.
Petty touchdown with a beautiful handling car.
I ran the same speed all day long. He's going to win the race. He's going to win it spinning.
If you can beat Richard, you can win the race.
Petty is out in front at the line. Petty wins it.
Yeah, I lost some this close, but this is the first time I remember in a long time I won one this close.
They're not changing tires. They're only adding gasoline and either way. What strategy?
Richard Petty has won the 200th race.
I understand that no one has ever done that.
Who's the greatest of them all? Well, you know, it just points to Richard Petty.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
Was so instrumental in so many ways in the history of the National Football League as the Raiders guard for 15 seasons. To the Hall of Fame he went, and then to run the NFL Players Association. His widow Terry and his 3 sons here before the game, and Terry tossing the coin to start the 2008 season. Throughout the course of the season, the players are going to wear patches. There it is, GU 63. And for the opening weekend games, we have the logo, the emblem is on the field. And John, you were down in Washington last week and were very instrumental in the service. It must have been quite something.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was so close to Gene over the years. We both started the same year with the Oakland Raiders in 1967. So we were together directly and indirectly for 41 years. And he gave. I mean, he gave himself to pro football. I mean, that's, as a player, he was a great player. He was a Hall of Famer, and then he went on for 25 years to lead the Union. And you think of what the players were when he started 25 years ago, and what they were making and where they are today and what they're making. And Gene Upshaw was maybe the largest contributor to pro football ever.
I'm not going to dispute that. I just think that, we talked about this last week. The thing I loved about him, you asked him a question, you got a direct answer.
Yeah,
he didn't work the edges.
Yeah.
He went right up the middle.
Right, and it may not always be the answer you want.
On 2nd down and 10, after the pass for Toomer was incomplete. On 2nd down, they give the ball to Derek Ward in his 5th year, former Jet, who came into his own last year, and then he got hurt, but he was part of that committee that was so successful in getting the Giants to the playoffs, and then he was hurt at the end.
And now look at the committee they have. I mean, they start Brandon Jacobs, who can run over anything, and then they can bring Derek Ward, and they still have Ahmad Bradshaw as a change of pace. So just in their running game alone, they could throw so many things at you. But again, I go back. It all starts with this group right here, that offensive line that I think is one of the best in football.
3rd and 7, and that line does its job long enough for Manning to get the pass off, and it's caught by Sonoris Moss, who gets taken down at the 33-yard line. So Moss, for a 23-yard gain, he would be their number 4 wide receiver, his first catch of the season.
If I were an offensive lineman, though, I would want to protect for Eli Manning, because I know he's going to hang in there, and someone may get off my block, just like they did on David Deal that time, but he's going to hang in there and still make that throw. Sonoris Moss does a good job of selling, but he's going to go deep before he breaks the out off.
On 1st down, now they give the ball to Ward. I don't know what the odds were on the proposition, but Sonoris is Santana's brother, younger brother. Santana, the number 1 receiver for the Washington Redskins, and you would have thought that Santana would have caught a pass this season before Sonoris. There was Santana Moss.
And we were talking about the depth that they have a running back, the Giants, but also a wide receiver. When you look at Burris, and then they got Dominic Hickson and Monty Toomer, Steve Smith, Sonoris Moss. I mean, they can bring a lot of guys at you, and they are doing it in this first half.
Now, I didn't even mention the Super Bowl hero David Tyree, who had knee surgery in the offseason. They do hope to have him back before the season ends, and Manning's going to have to call the Giants' 2nd time out of the half. When we come back, it'll be 2nd down and 6. Gents up 10-0.
NASN brings you the very best MLB coverage, including the playoffs and the 2008 World Series. Major League Baseball, only on NASN.
Franz. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
Manning almost in the grasp. Mike Carey almost blew the whistle. Back to throw. Pins it against his helmet. Falls down on top of Rodney Harrison. That sets up the Burris catch. It will live forever. Second down and 6 now with the ball at the 28-yard line. Manning, a ton of time. Headline does a great job, and the catch is made at the 11-yard line. Burris juggled it for the moment, but was able to hold on. So Burris off to a big start tonight. Burris has now caught 5 passes for 84 yards. It's good for 16.
Yeah, now this is a great job of pass protection here. I mean, they keep everyone off. They form a good pocket for Eli so that he can see, he can look up, and you can throw that into Plexico Burris. That was a cover 2 deep safety, and I think if they had a single deep, I think they would have tried to get Plexico deep. If they have 2 deep, they try and get them on that deep end that they just did. But again, on either play, they have to have that type of protection. That was a perfect package, a perfect pocket.
Reed Dowdy was the cover man, and that one is caught at the 7-yard line by Amani Toomer, the all-time leading receiver for the Giants, who gets tackled by Carlos Rogers. So 8 passes have been completed by Manning tonight, 5 to Burris and 1 each to Moss, Smith, and now Toomer.
We were talking, earlier how, he has so much confidence that Eli does now, and then I think after being a confident quarterback, you take that next step up to being comfortable in your confidence, and I think that's where he is right now.
2 tight, 2 wide. Play clock winding down on 2nd and 5. And Manning throws into traffic, and that was almost intercepted. Intended for Toomer. Too far in front of him, and Fred Smoot almost had the pick.
Yeah, and Eli Manning was telling him, keep going, keep going. He expected him to keep coming across. And Toomer, when he saw that he had inside coverage there, he kind of stopped and slowed up. And what Eli wanted him to do, when that guy sits inside you, just cut it off and run right across his face. Maybe you do need 6 preseason games.
So they got away with one. I don't think that Toomer needs 6 preseason games. 3rd down and 5 from the 7-yard line. From the gun. Taking too much time.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things last year, after mid-season towards the end that Tom Coughlin was really working with Eli on is to eliminate turnovers. Throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds. On this 3rd down situation here, okay, you have the field goal now. Try and get that touchdown, but if it's not there, throw it away. Don't force anything once you get in the red zone. Don't force anything anytime.
On 3rd and 9. And Manning's going to throw it at the feet of Ward. So this bogs down the Giants after that opening drive went for the touchdown. It seemed their 2 subsequent drives bogged down. They got a field goal off the last one, and we'll have to settle for a shot at one here.
Watch Jason Taylor here. He feels it's a screen. And when he sees Derek Ward go to the outside, he stops his rush, turns, and goes towards Derek Ward. He was the guy that fouled up that play.
Carney at 44 again. Fiegel is the holder, and the punter is 42. Arp lives. Meanwhile, Rich Seibert goes off the field with a little bit of assistance. Slowly. There he is. Left guard. Carney now. ready to attempt a 30-yarder to make it a 13-0 game, and all of a sudden, another penalty.
I would say that was on the Redskins. I mean, it looked like they had about 5 of the guys in the middle move.
Ed Hockley working out year-round as always. Eddie Guns.
Encroachment, defense, nose guard. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
There was a nose guard and about 4 of his buddies, I think. Looked like an avalanche in the middle of that play. But it was a field goal situation before the penalty, and it's still a field goal situation.
Now a 25-yard attempt with the ball spotted at the 15-yard line. Manning and Moss going over things. Carney, 21st year in the league. Started with San Diego, then to New Orleans, Jacksonville, and KC last year, and the kick is good. 10:59 to play in the opening half on opening night. As you look at the Statue of Liberty, the Giants lead the Redskins 13-0.
The NFL is back, and NASN brings you a live doubleheader. The Brett Favre era begins for New York as the Jets take on the Dolphins. Then the Cowboys step into the dog pound to battle the Cleveland Browns. Coverage begins with ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown. This Sunday only on NASN.
Fast minds, fast hands, and let's take it to them. One play at a time. One play at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself.
We hungry, baby.
No. That is the way to stomp your way into the playoffs.
Caught. Touchdown, Randy Moss. Airs it out downfield. Randy Moss is there, and he has a touchdown. Wow. That's impressive. 3 guys around him. Floats it to the right. Touchdown, Randy Moss. Caught. Great catch for Randy Moss. Touchdown reception number 23, an NFL record.
Head coaches Bart Starr, who was at Green Bay for several seasons, and Jim Zorn each threw 3,149 passes, the most NFL passes by players who became head coaches. So you go back through the years, and you had people like Norm Van Brockman and Bob Waterfield, but Starr and Zorn are atop that list. And Jim tonight, with his team down 13-0, is still looking for his first offensive first down. They have 1 first down on the penalty. The kickoff is taken by Rock Cartwright at the 1-yard line. And Cartwright will give them decent position, bringing it back up to the Redskin 36-yard line, where he's tackled by Michael Johnson. Here comes Campbell, John, and when you look at Campbell, and they're going to go to the West Coast offense, but tonight they're leaving the extra back in. It's almost as if they go back to Gibbs' style of putting the extra blockers in against the Giants' attack.
Yeah, I think they kind of had to, because they know that the Giants are going to blitz, so they're getting ready for the blitz, but they just have to get a better pace. They have to get in a rhythm. They have to get something going so they can build off that, because the Giants are just going to keep pressuring.
Campbell looking to complete his first pass, and he does, but there's a penalty, so we'll wait to see if this one holds. And this is Chris Cooley, who had a Pro Bowl year last season. The tight end gets it to the 46-yard line, but the Giants are all signaling that the penalty will be against Washington, and all of the body language indicates that that's the case.
Yeah, we talk about the Giants and their defense and the pressure, and as Steve Spagnuolo said, if it works, I just keep doing it, and you can see that it has worked, and he's just keeping doing it.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Number 60 offense ineligible downfield. It was also holding defense number 97. The penalty's offset. Replay first down.
That's Chris Samuels and Matthias Kiwanuka, who are lining up facing each other.
Yeah, Kiwanuka was holding number 47, Chris Cooley. Yep, right there. Yep. He grabbed him by the back, threw him down. And then that's also the thing that got Cooley open, though, in that play. And then because the play got out of rhythm, Chris Samuels thought it should have been off, and he went downfield.
Umanura gone for the season, broken leg. Kiwanuka, as we stated before, back along the line. Now Portis puts his head down. He got poked in the eye earlier, but comes back in for this series. Up to the 40. You know, John, with Jim Zorn coming in the West Coast offense, and it's all about timing and rhythm and all of that for Jason Campbell, another new system for him. The irony is, when you remember Jim Zorn as a player, he was a lot like Fran Tarkenton. He was the guy who loved to get out of the pocket and improvise.
Right, and he was a pain to play against because, some quarterbacks, you want to keep them on a spot like Jason Campbell. Jim Zorn, you didn't want to get him off the spot because he was trouble.
Now Portis, and he'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down as Ross comes up, and Clark as well, and that's going to set up 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, we were talking about how comfortable Eli Manning is, and I think that Jason Campbell is equally uncomfortable. In his last 8 years, college and pro, he's had 7 different offensive coordinators, 7 different systems, and 7 different techniques. I mean, everyone wants him to do it a different way, and he has no comfort out there at all.
Ran a version of the West Coast at Auburn his senior year, and the Tigers were undefeated. And now on 3rd and short, they give it to Portis, and he gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage. So on 3rd and short, they run a very vanilla play, and it has no flavor.
Okay, here's the middle. This is where it all starts. Robbins, Cofield in the middle. Kiwanuka coming down from the outside. But it all starts in the middle. You see there's no movement at all in the middle. And because that middle held the point, then that outside Matthias Kiwanuka could get down and make that play.
Brooks making his NFL debut, already his 4th punt in the first 22 minutes of the game. And McQuarters makes the fair catch at the 14-yard line. Manning and the Giant offense back to work on opening night at the Meadowlands. 13-0 New York.
College football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
In cuts from the right side and an out cuts on the left side.
I gave it to him. I gave it to him.
Big win. We're moving on.
We are not finished. We are not finished, fellas.
That's 3 in the first quarter. How much celebrating y'all want me to do?
Come on! I ain't gonna need this hat where we going. That's how you finish.
September on NASN. The Warriors of the NFL return to kick off another regular season.
He is in for the touchdown.
MLB's best begin the hunt for October and a place in the postseason. And the college football season is up and running, including Ohio State versus USC in one of the sport's best non-conference matchups.
What a catch!
September on NASN.
And then a lot of the rest of the league opens up on Sunday. Our Sunday Night Football opener, Chicago going to Indianapolis. There's the gang, Bob and the boys. Coverage of Football Night in America starting at 7 Eastern Time and the game at 8:15. From the 14-yard line, here come the Giants now, starting this drive with a Brandon Jacobs run over right tackle. London Fletcher in on the stop. Again, the Mannings are there, Archie and Olivia, and
have two sons, each hoisting a Lombardi trophy within 365 days or roughly thereof of each other is off the charts. Off the board.
Well, and you can just tell by meeting Peyton and Eli that they're two great parents, and I know them both, and I know that they are, and I know that as a fact. 2nd and 5. Here comes Jacobs again to the right side, and he does get taken down here by Jason Taylor. Nice stop there by Taylor, and there are the boys, the Mannings, going all the way back to their youth in New Orleans. They did meet here at the Meadowlands on opening night of the 2006 season, and last year on the left and the year before that on the right. Not a lot of families have that picture, do they?
No, I don't think so.
And they both have the same look, the same angle, and I don't know, those were two special moments.
3rd and 3. 7 minutes to play in the opening half. And Manning will convert, and that catch is made by Amani Toomer. His second catch of the game. Amani Toomer in his 13th year out of Michigan. He was drafted with the Giants #2 in 1996.
See, the Redskins are trying to put the same pressure on the Giants, and they're bringing blitz and putting it, but the difference is Eli Manning is quicker. He's quicker with the ball. He's quicker with his release. He gets back, gets it out of there for the first down.
I'm right here.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Play clock at 3. Jacobs. Jacobs was at Auburn for a little while. He wound up going to Southern Illinois, started at Coffeyville, Kansas. He actually played on the same team with Jason Campbell for a year. We were talking to Campbell about him the other night. Campbell said, you know, the problem was we had so many good backs down there. They started talking about making him a linebacker and a safety, and he said, I'm out of here.
That's when he got out. He said he went to linebacker, to safety, then to tight end. He said, no, I'm a running back, and I'm going to be a running back, and I'm not going to stay here.
They had Ronnie Brown, Parnell Williams. They had a lot of great backs at that time. And to Southern Illinois he went, drafted in the 4th round in 04. 2nd down and 7. Here he goes to the left side. Now turns the corner. Off he goes. Past midfield. That was Madison Hedgecock, the fullback, number 39, one of the best blocking fullbacks in the league. Michael Strahan can appreciate that one. It's a 24-yard gain for a first.
Here's Hedgecock making the lead and the block right there. And that's the one that springs Brandon Jacobs. This time, LaRon Landry gets over. Look at the difference between this tackle of LaRon Landry. He is not going to tackle this guy high again.
Landry already run over one time before as Derek Ward is in the backfield now. And it's caught by Burris, and he'll get spun down by Smoot with 4:40 to go in the half.
You know, we were talking earlier about Greg Blosh telling his defensive backs, hit him low. If you get him where you hit him above his waist, that's what's going to happen. You see that power, and he just runs straight uphill. And if you are going to tackle him, you have to tackle him below his waist and maybe even below his knees.
Derek Ward now, and he will work his way. Keeps those legs turning for a first down. Again behind Hedgecock. So part of that committee, and we've yet to see Ahmad Bradshaw, who's the other guy, and you know he can run. He had an 88-yarder against Buffalo last year, a key play in that game.
You know, we always talk about an offensive line working as a unit. Just from that shot there, you could just see this offensive line. They all get off together. They all get that push up the field, get the lead block there, the back right in behind them. This is an excellent, you know, I keep saying this, but this is an excellent run block offensive line.
Burris again, big half for him. Smoot, who's playing a little bit more than he normally would. He would come in the nickel and dime, but with Sean Springs hurt, he's seeing a lot of action, and Burris is having a field day with him right now. That's 7 catches for 98 yards.
You know, Greg Blosh, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, is trying everything. I mean, tried to zone him, tried to man him, trying to blitz him. He just can't get there. And even when he does have a free rusher, Eli Manning hangs in there and throws the ball for completion.
2nd and 2 from the 26-yard line. Fake draw. Manning throws, and that's almost picked, and that's exactly what Washington would need at this point, because they're getting eaten up. It's Carlos Rogers with the coverage on the play. Total yardage in this game right now. The Giants have 246 total yards, and we're not even at the half. The Redskins have 16. And the Redskins haven't completed a pass.
No, and part of that is the Redskins, remember their last 2 preseason games, they didn't look good at all, and they couldn't do anything. They just carried it over into tonight's game. But another part of it, and a pretty big part of it, is that Giant defense.
Redskins are outscored 71-6 in their last 2 preseason games. And this is Jacobs now on a 3rd down play who gets bottled up. So again, the Giants with some good drives. The first one paid off with a touchdown, but now they're going to have to settle for a 3rd field goal attempt.
I think when you get them going, you want to keep them going. Maybe they got a little conservative there.
Yep.
Because Eli's throwing it, he's confident, and Plexico Burress can look like he can get open anytime he wants to, and I don't know that you have to do those kinds of plays, but. Again, you get the lead, and it's a regular season game. You're ahead 13-0. You get down closer. You just don't want to do anything stupid, maybe.
48-yard attempt coming up for Carney. Carney, it's like a golfer who shoots his age. He outkicked his age right there. 44 years old, 48-yard field goal. 2-minute warning. 16-0.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
The place is absolutely packed. People are waving. You couldn't be in a better place on earth. The crowd on its feet as one. The green flag is underway.
Bottom line remains, somebody's got a chance to kiss those bricks.
Jimmy Johnson's pit crew moved him up 2 spots.
We've been talking a lot about Jimmy Johnson being strong. He's got a chance to show it.
Carl Edwards is charging, but Johnson is still in charge. Everybody in turn 3 on their feet. Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards, mano a mano. Jimmy Johnson will capture his 2nd All-State 400 at the Brickyard.
Major League Baseball coverage all the way to the World Series on NASN.
Are in the house. Bob and Chris. First half analysis, week 1 preview. Brian Williams will have a report from St. Paul, the final night of the Republican National Convention. So that's what's coming up on your Toyota halftime show. 16-0 Giants. They give Carney officially a 47-yard field goal. Still outkicked his age. Rock Cartwright from the 5-yard line. Breaks the tackle at the 20, and Cartwright into Giant territory, takes it all the way down to the 45-yard line where Kevin Dockery finally catches up with him. So Washington needing a spark and getting one on the run back. This kickoff special is being brought to you by Lincoln, introducing the all-new 2009 Lincoln MKS. Lincoln retired. By Subway Restaurant, Subway Eat Fresh. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Verizon Wireless. That was a 50-yard kickoff return for Rock Cartwright. The ball at the 45. Campbell still hasn't completed a pass. This time he gives it on a delay to Portis, and that's a 9-yard gain where he's tackled by the corner Aaron Ross.
I think this is a big drive here for the Redskins. You know, down 16-0, if they could just get something going, you know, just get something on the board, even if it's just a field goal. At least they have, you know, something to build on going in at halftime.
Campbell is 0 for 3. Portis has carried the ball 8 times for 33 yards. That was their longest play of the night. A 9-yard rush. 2nd and 1. Campbell to the outside. Finally completes a pass to Antoine Randall L. So it took them 28 minutes and 50 seconds, and you saw Campbell say, let's huddle up here.
Well, you know that if he can get time, and the Giants bring in so much pressure that they have to be man-to-man in their pass coverage. So all you have to do is get the blitz picked up, and then what you have to do is get your receivers to get open and get some separation. And then you can make throws like that. Because he did have the protection, and he did have that man covered.
At the 23-yard line, 1st down. Randall in the slot, Moss outside. Portis is the running back. Flag is thrown.
Portis is smart on that. You know, we always think that if a flag is thrown and it's going to be a free play, you always think of a pass, but you know, that free play can be a run too, and you can, you know, everyone stops and you just keep going. Ed Hawkins.
There were 2 fouls by the defense. Offense, that, correct, I'm sorry.
He's a lawyer.
Outside defense, that penalty is declined. There's also personal foul, face mask. That penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Objection overruled.
Well, this is what the Redskins needed. I mean, they needed a play. They got it in their special teams and the kickoff return, and then they get protection, get a pass completion, get a penalty here, get good field position, you know, and get something going, get some momentum going into the halftime.
There is no such thing anymore as a 5-yard face mask. Well, they didn't even get the face mask. It's a 15 or nothing. There's no such thing as what we used to call the garden variety face mask. That wasn't even the garden variety.
No, that was a nothing that they cost them 15.
So it's 1st and 10 from just inside the 11-yard line. And the Giants moving around on defense, but it doesn't hurt them. There's a lot of action going on the other side of the line as Fred Robbins gets there first. Washington has all of its timeouts.
You know, you always hear about the defensive ends in this defense, but that Fred Robbins in the middle is a pretty good player. I mean, he holds the point when you try and run at him. He'll get penetration, and every once in a while he'll get a big pass rush right up the middle.
They're taking a lot of time in a situation where you have 3 timeouts. Down to 26 seconds on the snap on 2nd and 11. Campbell's going to throw. It's going to be tipped, and it's incomplete, and it's out of bounds. But in this situation, you don't want to get into a situation where you're going to leave timeouts on the board when you've got 3 of them.
Right, and there's no reason to have to rush a play when you have 3 timeouts. I mean, they should have used one there, gathered themselves, and got the play. They were trying to hurry up too much, but you don't have to do that when you have 3 timeouts.
Well, they were hurrying up, but it still took them about 25 seconds to run that play. So now they're down to a 3rd and 11. And they have more timeouts than they'll ever need here. Campbell.
Wide open.
Throwing wide open is Moss. And Santana Moss has gotten Washington back into the ballgame. That Rock Cartwright 50-yard return, the penalty, and then all of a sudden the Giants completely dominant. But a point away now from a 9-point margin.
Right, there's Santana Moss. He started out on the left side, came all the way across, And again, that time Jason Campbell had good protection. So he could wait for Moss to work his way across the field. Start on the left side, complete the pass on the right side.
45 yards, 6 plays. Sweezin for the point after. Brooks is the new holder since he won the job from Frost. And the kick is good. So a near perfect first half by the Giants, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point game. 16-7 with 13 ticks left in the half.
ESPN 360. Whenever you're online, you're at the game.
Here we go. Down he goes. Junior hard in the inside wall. That was a burnout.
Johnson has tied the ball. Tony Stewart wins at the Brickyard. His dream comes true. Checkered flag is in the air. Jimmy Johnson from California wins at Indianapolis.
Kitty, come get yourself. My God, this is awesome.
Sports action online 24/7. Don't miss a minute of your favorite sports wherever you are, whenever you want it. Get the latest news, highlights, and analysis, and full live game coverage. Simply choose a package to suit you to watch the NHL or NCAA football live online this season. Go to ESPN360.com and watch live sports online 24/7 now.
With a 3-hour premiere event, Monday, September the 22nd. I jumped the gun on the promo, John. What can I tell you? Out of format. Bouncing ball. Bobbled, recovered up at the 30-yard line by Kevin Booth. By the way, John, Heroes, a new season will begin Monday, September the 22nd. There
I just heard that somewhere.
Double promo. I was just rehearsing it. Good show, big hit, coming your way in a couple of weeks. Giants Stadium in East Rutherford. One more season here, and across the parking lot, the Giants and Jets will go to the new digs.
I was really surprised how close it was.
Yeah.
You know, as you look at the building, it's darn near touching this one.
And about halfway finished with construction as the Giants leave the field with a 16-7 halftime margin. So Bob and Chris with the first half analysis. Brian Williams with a live report from the Republican National Convention. Coming up, but first, these messages from your local NBC station.
This season, no one is safe.
What do I control? I don't control the bumps and the bruises, the crowd, or who covers me. I don't control the bounces, the shootout order, or for that matter, what happens outside the rink. There are a lot of things in life I don't control. But then again, there are some things that I do.
College football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
Cubs and Yankee fans are like oil and water. Cubs and White Sox fans at the same dinner table? Bad idea. Despite their differences, fans do have one thing in common. Their heroes all wear Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
this game. The Bills have their last strike and Burrow delivers.
Franz, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
Regular season game, a season that will culminate in a Super Bowl for us at NBC, and by and large in this first half, Chris, the Super Bowl champions looking like it.
Sure are. We want to point out they're not booing us at this point. We don't think.
I'm not so sure, but...
Yeah, they really are. Eli Manning's just had a tremendous first half, no question about it. And, of course, the big question was about this defense of the New York Giants as well. Could they get the kind of pressure? But what we saw in the first half was Jason Campbell helped them a lot. In this offense, unlike Joe Gibbs' offense, they don't have the protection schemes in. Only 5-man protecting. He has to get the ball out, on time, throw it. First play, took the sack. Later in this half, we saw him start to make the quick reads, come up with a touchdown pass to Santana Moss. So Jason Campbell just has to do a better job of this offense, and he got better at the end of the half.
So Eli Manning and company leading 16-7. Meanwhile, Big Brother Peyton featured on NBC Sunday night against the Bears. He didn't take a single preseason snap, but they say he's set to go.
Yeah, I talked to the people from the Colts today, and they said that the Peyton Manning watch is now officially over. He's ready, he's there, he practiced in its entirety today, and he's going to be ready to go for Sunday night in the Bears.
Now, the last time the Bears faced the Colts, a couple of seasons ago in the Super Bowl, Rex Grossman was their quarterback. Now he's the backup to Kyle Orton in between. The Bears had a season where they went 7-9. Can Orton make a difference?
I think he can. Remember, he played a lot as a rookie, and then he had a few years basically to sit and watch. I went back and watched some of the tape on him during the course of this preseason. He looks really sharp. I think the Chicago Bears defense or offense is going to have a definite uptick. Devin Hester now playing a little wide receiver. Should be fun to watch.
All right, Chris, we'll see you on Sunday night. Meanwhile, after this commercial break, we'll check in with Brian Williams at the Republican National Convention in St. Paul for the latest from there. We're back in a moment.
Major League Baseball continues on NASN with more live midweek matchups. First up, the A's travel to Motor City to face the Tigers. Then in the National League, the Marlins and Phillies battle as the playoff races tighten. Live midweek baseball only on NASN.
First, good evening.
Er zitten van die wieltjes aan tegenwoordig, weet je wel?
Ja, maar dat moet bukken.
Nee, kijk. Kijk dan toch, joh. Je gaat toch niet slepen, man, als je hem kan tillen. Of als je kan rollen.